We're not paying for Zoom. Oh no. Okay, I'm just gonna call it now. I'll edit it.
Somehow, my daughters fell in love with Formula One. I don't know how, but I'm not asking. They may not know wheel, but does anybody?
Hello and welcome to We Don't Know Wheel. I'm Grace. I've been abandoned by my co-host. So instead, I've brought together a meeting of the minds tonight. There was too much to cover with the sprint race, so everyone has taken a piece that they can talk about so that the whole weekend is covered.
Yeah, it's a real like Power Rangers power up situation.
Yes.
I liked it. I got my assignment and I was like, I'm on it. I got this.
I'm not sure I got my assignment. I'm
We had
looking at why I'm
assignments?
here.
was
Okay. You were in charge of watching the race.
Oh.
No one watched the race?
We watched the highlights.
You watched the highlights of the race?
Yeah,
Was
Mom,
there
I was
something
like,
else?
it was a bit boring.
Baby.
8 minutes, yeah.
8 minutes.
8 minutes?
Okay.
You
Not
didn't
very
even
many
watch
highlights.
the race in 30?
No.
No, okay, well, Mom and I are talking about the race today, and she's like, I thought it was a really good one. And I was like, it was a little boring. And
I
now
thought-
I know why
Really
she thought
excited.
it
You
was.
watched it in 8 minutes.
With
I thought
literally
Fernando-
every single interesting thing that happened is in that 8-minute video.
It's true.
I really enjoyed Fernando Alonso this race. He was my
loved
driver of the day.
I agree. And
The
he,
sprint or
it
the
looks like he
pole?
was not really getting votes for driver of the day.
I was shocked.
He was not
He
in the
was
top
tied
3.
with Hamilton, I thought.
I didn't see him.
Oh,
It
maybe
was
I'm
like
totally wrong.
Lando and Hamilton and I want to say
Fernando.
Charles.
It was not Charles.
I just felt like
Dude, I
Fernando
don't
was
know.
on one this race.
He was on fire. That
Yeah,
race started and he floored it like, I am going to win this thing.
yeah,
I am
Yeah.
all in.
yeah.
Do you wonder if he like overcooked the tires on that first stint trying to get in the lead?
You know, he knew he wasn't going to win anyway. So he's like, I'm going to just go for it and see if I can lead for like a lap.
Oh.
I think you might be right, though. I was shocked how many places he made up in that last stint.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
Why
like,
did he
finished
drop
like
back so
7th.
far and he was down to like 10th or something?
he was below 10th. He was out of
Yeah.
the points. And he made up like 4 or 5 places in
Yeah.
the last like 10 laps. And then I was like, wait, are all of them able to do this? And also, how long is Lance Stroll going to be
Yes.
at
Yes.
Aston Martin?
That's
That's
the
what I
big
thought
question
too. I
of the
said-
night.
Yeah, everyone is talking about it. They're like, I was watching, of course, scrolling through TikTok, and I felt like everyone's commentary about this race was, why is Lance still here? This just proves that fact. It's so blatantly obvious. Everyone's just
Yeah.
hating on Lance.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
really,
And
yeah.
Carlos is looking for a seat. What's
Mhm.
Lance?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think Aston Martin should be hiring Carlos. Carlos and Fernando seems like the ideal team.
Yeah.
Maybe, okay. I'm going to manifest
Ooh.
for season 7 of Drive to Survive a tell-all episode about Lawrence Stroll firing his son.
Sarah.
Lawrence Stroll should fire himself.
But I think
Oh my
Lawrence
gosh.
Stroll is actually doing a good job.
I do
Mm.
too. Like he's just throwing money out there. Like I
Fair.
don't care how much it costs. I am all in. We are going to win.
But what
And
I
the
don't care.
last thing that he has to give up
It's his son.
is his son.
did he get Adrian Newey?
He's trying.
He's trying.
Okay.
He's doing.
It does
money
seem
can do
like
it. Don't get
It
on.
started out when he started with like Williams way back, because I've been rewatching season 1,
Ooh.
that it was very much about his son. And it's been about his son for many years. And now I feel like he's got Fernando. And Fernando's
Fernando's his
doing
son.
quite well. Yeah, I think he's kind of like, maybe this isn't about my son. Maybe now I'm an F1 guy. I'm the next Gene Haas, Canadian
Yeah.
Gene Haas,
And
but
Ooh.
better.
Better.
Has the value of whatever the team's called, has that
Aston.
team value gone up?
I mean, I
Since he
think
bought
all
it?
F1
Compared to
team values
what?
have gone up, right?
All of them. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like an investment.
But what about, like, what's all the scuttlebutt about? They're trying to make Lance Stroll sound like he's valuable to the team because he gives technical feedback on
Huh?
how the car's working.
I saw that.
Really?
Wait, what?
Really?
Fernando was like, oh no, Lance provides very detailed feedback that's very useful to the team.
I honestly
feel
think
that.
PR is just telling Fernando what to say. Because obviously he's going to be getting these questions and he just has to make him look better than he's making himself look.
Okay,
Well,
Jamie.
maybe they're gonna create a job for
That's called
young
reserve
Lance
driver.
Okay, but I think
Stroll. Analysis.
I think mom's right, because I think I'm like, what needs to happen, what will happen is they will hire a different driver. They should. But
think
then
so?
they'll hire that different driver as like a technical expert or something, but it will all be in the name of like, no, this person is taking Lance Stroll's spot. But
Oh,
it'll be slow. It'll be like,
Subtle.
oh, he's gonna, and they'll just like switch roles.
Something to like kind of
Maybe somebody
ease-
will plan some kind of like accident for Lance.
Oh,
where, like,
no,
he's on
no,
his
no.
bike and they
he breaks his
Gosh.
wrists or
break
something.
both legs or something.
conspiracy
already
theory.
broken.
You think
both
someone's gonna
wrists.
kneecap
But then
him?
it doesn't look like, well, he wasn't a good driver. He just broke his body.
Too injured to drive.
It feels like
I love that this has turned into theories on how we can discreetly get Lance off the team.
No. I do feel like I've seen that too, Mom, and I'm like, are people believing this PR? And then speaking of Aston Martin PR, Jamie, as the resident Daniel Ricciardo fan,
Mhm.
what
Yeah.
did you see the like? I saw some reels where people were joking
Oh,
about
yeah.
like you're Aston Martin's PR, and Lauren Stroll tells you to say something bad about Danny Ricciardo for that crash.
I did not see that. I saw a very heated Danny Rick post race.
Mm-hmm.
It was like you literally ran into the back of the car during a safety car, and then you were like, that wasn't my fault.
Yeah.
Why did he slow down?
Why was he braking as we were approaching that tight corner?
Hmm. What was the thing he said? Did you guys watch his interview too, where he was like, "Oh, it was just
A really
Some-
bizarre racing incident.
No,
yeah," and he
That's
was
what I
making
heard.
this
what was
weird-
it, an accordion effect or
Yeah,
Concertina.
concertina.
Yeah.
I know from the Great British Bake Off.
Stop, that's amazing.
What is a
What is it?
concertina?
Yeah, what is it, Sarah?
It's like an accordion. It's like when things compress and then the cake splidges out the side.
Oh, that's a
Making me think of the blueberry
concertina.
pancakes.
He used a
Exactly.
reference to
Yeah. Oh, what a
He
disaster.
said it several times, actually.
He did. I
It
was
was
like,
like it was the word of the day or something.
I was thinking the same thing.
It was
I
on his toilet paper this morning.
you get that.
Yeah. But he's just like, I mean, Fernando is doing so well.
Yeah.
I love Fernando. Gonna say. I think he's better looking today than he was 20 years ago. Like when you look
Wow.
at pictures, don't you think?
I think young Fernando was kind of hot. He reminds me
Yeah.
of Matt from Extreme Days when he
That's
was young.
amazing. For
Wait,
any
which one was
listeners out
Matt?
there who don't
Which
know
one
what
was Matt?
Extreme Days
That's a
is,
real, that's a
It's a deep
McElroy
cut.
level deep cut.
Was Matt the one that was going out with the girl?
He was the
No.
one with the goggles.
Oh, that.
He wore swim goggles when he went
goofball.
skiing.
Do you have any
Okay,
canned
we're
fish
way off
products?
their track now. We
Canned
better
fish
reel
products
this
up
in.
there, right?
We're here to talk F1 people.
Okay. Okay.
Who's talking about sprint quali?
Wait,
No one watched sprint
No one
quali.
watched sprint quali. I was like, shoot, I just heard quali.
We
Okay,
watched
but
the
sprint
highlights.
quali,
Sprint quali?
What happened?
it was in the rain.
Oh,
Like
Oh.
rain started in like Q2. Lewis Hamilton got like
Yeah.
P2 and Lando P1, I believe.
Lando was like, yeah, he was supposed to be like
He had a
incredible in the rain.
magical lap in the rain. I am talking about the sprint. Should I dive
Yeah,
into this?
dive in.
Did
'cause I don't
anybody else
even-
watch the sprint?
We
I
watched
don't
the
even
highlights.
know
Watch the
who
highlights.
won.
They
I
watched the
don't know.
highlights. Great.
I was about to watch the highlights.
It was a pretty fun race. Okay, so Lewis took the lead in the very first corner,
Ooh.
and so it was a bad start for Lando. Immediately, he was down in like fifth or sixth because he was like trying to make it all the way around Lewis, and then he like lost a bunch of places. So that was kind of depressing. Very quickly became apparent that he was not going to get his first
Ooh.
race win.
You don't want your first race win to be a sprint. I just hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's not worth it. It'll always
I
have
think
an
you're
asterisk
probably
next to it.
right. I think you're probably right.
Hmm.
Yeah, you want it to be a Grand Prix. Max won the sprint. Shocking.
Mhm.
It took him what? Let me think. Like 10 laps to get from fourth place to P1 to be leading the
pretty-
race. And
pretty
then
impressive.
in the last, or maybe 9, and then the last 10, because it was 19 laps total. Guess how many seconds ahead of the pack he was
She took
at the end of
notes.
the race? Yeah, I did.
15 seconds.
30.
12 seconds ahead
Jeez.
in like 10 laps. So that was crazy. Alonso had a really amazing sprint too, actually. Like he was on fire all weekend.
Mm-hmm.
What was
Um,
Lance doing?
he defended P2 for like 15 laps, and he had like a train, the Ferraris, Lando was behind him,
Oh, yeah.
and Checo
Oh.
was behind him. They were all stacked up behind him, and nobody could get around him. It was amazing. And then there was like this crazy drama between laps 16 and 19. The Ferraris were wheel to wheel. Carlos and Fernando were wheel to wheel. It was very exciting. And then, yeah, there was a great moment.
It
What?
seems to be getting much more heated between the Ferraris.
Mm.
I fear it is. I fear it is.
Oh.
I fear it's going
I
to get
think that it makes perfect sense because Carlos is like, I need to kind of prove myself. He's got
Mm-hmm.
elbows
his
out,
elbows
as
out.
they say.
Elbows
He's
out.
got nothing to lose. He's got
He
nothing
has
to
nothing
lose.
Yeah.
to lose. Oh,
Mm.
What is happening?
Is that AI, Jamie?
It must be. I think
That's
it's like if you do a
right.
certain hand motion, it triggers like a response.
If you do the chicken dance, you start getting fireworks. So let that be a
Obviously.
lesson. God, what was I saying?
We're talking about the
Carlos.
Ferraris.
Yeah, okay, yeah, because Carlos has nothing to lose, but then he's also
Mhm.
been outperforming Charles without question in this season, like the last 5 races. So I think it makes sense. There's like a little added tension in that little dynamic. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, speaking of the Ferrari boys,
Mhm.
Mhm.
did you see Charles's wide leg pants? And what are your feelings, Sarah?
Let's
as a
talk
fashion
about
expert?
it.
Missed
Let's talk about it.
Ooh.
They were like
Loved
Jinko
them.
jeans.
I was very into it. I feel like, okay, I think, Lewis is going to be his teammate next year.
Gotta
He's gotta
step it
up
up.
the
Charles
fashion.
is like, I gotta start like upping my game a little bit if I'm gonna, be next to Lewis. And I
That's true.
think he's just aware, and I think he's just trying to, make some things happen. I know
Hmm.
he's into fashion, but I don't think it's not a hot take. I don't know if he naturally has great fashion
Sense?
sense.
I love this.
I think he is a student of fashion.
Do you think someone like picks out his clothes for him?
No.
You think he's picking out his own clothes
Yes.
and that's why it
Have
is
you
how
seen
it
the
is?
tie-dye jeans?
Have you seen the
No.
red pants on qualifying?
I was just looking for that. Is it on his Instagram or is it on?
He
It was
wears them
from, like,
all the
last year.
time.
Oh,
He's
what-
worn them multiple times. The
I
like
honestly-
bleached tie-dye.
I don't follow him on Instagram.
I don't either.
Me
Where
either.
was- Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm like protecting my peace,
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's about it for the sprint. I don't know. Hamilton got second, which was very exciting
Wait.
for me.
Who spun out in
Um,
the sprint? Is
What?
that Carlos?
Carlos spun out in qualifying.
Quali.
Ollie. Okay.
I think everybody finished the sprint. No, that can't be true. I know that's not true, but it feels like it. Joe finished in ninth, just outside the points
Mm.
for the sprint, but he had a really good race. And I think he had a really good weekend. And maybe it was one of the highlights of the weekend for me to see his reaction because it was just like so sweet.
Mhm.
That's it. And also like anytime Joe would make a pass, like literally even if it was for 16th place, the stands were like going insane. It was amazing. It was so fun.
I like
I'm
that.
done. That's the sprint.
Okay, here's my question
Cute.
about the sprint. What do you think of it? How would you improve it?
Oh,
Ooh.
My
I
hot
think-
take, I think it should only be 10 laps.
I go along with that. But I
It's too
think the
long.
result of the sprint should be the starting order for the race.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
that's- I don't know about that.
Yeah, but if
I
Max is
think-
always dominating.
I think there shouldn't be qualifying for the sprint. You start
what
the
should-
sprint in reverse championship order,
I love that.
I
I'm
like
in.
that.
Yeah.
I love it.
and it is what it is.
Okay, what do you, I also think like right now the sprint points are a part of the championship points,
Mm.
but I kind of think that maybe if they made the sprint points a totally separate thing that didn't influence the championship, they still all had to do it,
Mhm.
then they'd have more freedom to play around with the like ideas with the sprint without people being
Mm.
like, this all counts for the championship. It's like,
Fair.
let's just try it. If the whole point is basically just to make more content for us to watch, make the
Yeah.
content more interesting.
I
That's
agree.
interesting. But
I
then I
was-
feel like the teams wouldn't really take it seriously
Mm.
Yeah,
if it's not
They
worth
wouldn't risk
points.
damaging equipment, I don't think.
Mm.
But
Yeah,
it's
they would just be
still-
like, what? That's dumb. We're not going to do that.
It's still a good learning experience for them. And then maybe they could
Yeah.
make something else about the sprints like, oh, based on everyone's sprint performances overall, you get like money or time in the wind tunnel or whatever. Like make it somewhat worthwhile.
Well, if nothing else, it's practice on the track, right?
Yeah.
The sprint. I mean,
Mhm.
it's got to be worth a lot for the drivers to drive that track. That track was crazy. Like
Yeah.
it felt like
Yeah.
the one turn, like they
Mhm.
were going 360 degrees almost, you know.
Yeah.
They came out of
Yeah.
the sun. It was-
Yeah.
I thought the track was super interesting.
I did too.
Yeah, I agree.
I liked the track. Yes. Okay, James, tell us about
Okay.
qualifying.
Okay. So Q1. Is that what the
Hamilton got
first
knocked
one's-
out.
Yeah, Hamilton got knocked out.
I watched all of this today.
I love that.
I
I
had the day
love
off.
watching Hamilton just dribble down to the end.
Oh,
And I kind of like seeing Mark go down. Enough of Mert.
This is because you guys have been rewatching old Drive to Survive seasons.
Yeah,
They've
you're
had a
like,
few
yeah.
bad years.
Oh my gosh, that's so hysterical. Okay, so I feel like that was the big news of the first round. And then the second round, Carlos went onto the gravel, and
Yeah.
it truly looked like a nightmare for him. I am shocked that not only did he get his front end repaired, but he made it through to the next round.
They called a red flag,
Crazy.
right? So that was the hot thing, was like they called a red flag for
Mhm.
him, but he got his car back to the pits on his own.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And one of the teams, I
Hmm.
want to say it was Aston Martin, lodged a complaint saying he should be thrown out because he got into Q3 and Lance Stroll did not.
Wait, why didn't Lance Stroll make it into Q3?
He was
Just-
too slow.
Just time-wise? So
The
they're just
stopwatch.
whining?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Um, yeah, that little corner. Well, there was one moment, I think during the actual race where Fernando went onto the gravel and it just shows how good of a driver he is. Like,
Yeah.
what the heck? He just will power through without any obstacle. He just he figures it out. I don't get it.
When they kept replaying Fernando going onto the gravel and like getting himself
Yes.
back, it was like impressive. Each time you watched it, it was like, oh, he made the tiniest correction and was just like, no worries. I'm back
No big
on.
deal. Okay, actually, this was really interesting. I was listening to the announcers talk about Carlos's crash, and they talked about how good of a driver he was because of how he figured out how to crash the car.
Right.
And that was really interesting because I've never really heard of crash technique, which makes sense, but I haven't heard them talk about it before. So that was some fun little commentary.
The thing that always gets me is when you watch their hands, they're holding the wheel until the impact, and then they like they instinctively let go because the wheel just, flicks
Oh.
around. That's how you get your hands broken.
That's how
That's-
Denny Rick,
Yeah.
injured his hand, right?
It's just like
Yes.
wakeboarding.
Let go of the rope.
Let go of the rope.
That's fun. Yeah, and then the last round of quali was actually really fun because, well, Max obviously came in with the fastest lap, but then basically, I think there were like 5 drivers. Each one that came in got second, and then the next one got second, and the next one got second, and the next one got second. So it was just like, oh my gosh, they kept one-upping each other by like hundreds of a second, and that was really a really fun ending. Like the last round of quali was really fun to watch because of that. Like they just kept getting better and better. So there was definitely a moment where I was like,
track conditions were improving.
Yeah.
Or,
I don't know.
they're putting more rubber down on the track.
Because didn't they resurface this track or something before the last time they raced? Did I hear that somewhere?
Oh, I bet they did because it's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Because it looked nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know the surrounding area looked really pretty too. It's like this just
Yeah.
looks like a gorgeous.
We didn't get the surrounding area in the 8-minute version.
That tracks. But it was a really exciting quality. I would definitely rewatch the 10-minute recap if I was you, because if you had time, it was really fun to watch actually.
And
the
don't you think
recap.
part of that is like the way the track was laid out? I just thought the track was so much more interesting than like the huge,
Mhm.
anyway.
Yeah, because it had the big
Hairpins?
straight.
The
and
big
then-
straight into the
yeah.
hairpins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are areas for overtaking, which it's kind of with the domination of Max Verstappen, it's kind of hard to watch the races where there's not very many opportunities for overtaking. It just doesn't make it super interesting. So it was really nice, to have a track there was a lot of that. I feel like some changes.
Like in Monaco, the only overtaking is when there's a mistake, and it's like,
Or it's raining.
Or it's raining. Yeah, that's pretty true. No, I thought that was a great race weekend. It's
Mhm.
just too much to watch when they do the sprints. Oh
It's a
my
lot.
gosh.
Oh,
The highlights.
too much to watch. Yeah, yeah, okay.
I had a
Not
student this morning.
'Cause I
Highlights.
think you
Yeah.
gotta tell.
I think it's compounded because the race was in China. For me, especially because of the time difference, it's like I'm not watching anything live
Mm.
We're the European
because everything
complainers
was at
now.
like 1 a.m. Yeah. But if it was a sprint race in the US or in North America or something, I think it would have been easier because I would have maybe been like, oh, I'm gonna watch quali live. And then you like catch things when they show up, and I don't feel like I need to like watch recordings of a million things. I don't know.
Mhm. What did you
Just
think about the
thought.
PR, the social media presence this weekend? Was it
I had
good?
deleted Instagram because I didn't want spoilers.
That's fair. I feel like a lot of PR that I saw, which was really giving, were the helmets. We had a lot of really good helmets. Alex
I like-
Albon, driver of the day helmet
Yes.
for me. Especially his photos with Lily were
best.
so cute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
He had a
Is that the
panda helmet,
panda?
right?
Yeah. They only
Yeah.
showed it on screen like once or twice too. I was like, why aren't they not showing him and Joe? Joe had a really cool helmet too.
What did Joe's helmet look like?
It had like the Shanghai like underground map on it, like
Yes.
for the
Oh.
transit system.
And then it had some really cool like blue designs up top. It kind of looked like Chinese pottery or something on top, kind of like
Oh.
China patterns.
I missed that.
I know when
Ah.
they photographed it on his Instagram, they didn't do just a photo from the top down. You could
Hmm.
kind of see it from like the back a little, but they didn't do like a bird's eye view of his helmet, which I was kind of bummed about because it looked really cool.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I love an F1 driver repping public transit.
Yeah, I know.
Environmental
it.
king.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then George came in with a red helmet for Chinese New Year. And
Oh.
Botas also had a helmet too.
I saw Botas's. It was a dragon, right? Because it's the year of the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Love
Oh yeah,
that.
that's what I meant to say. It was Year of the
Yeah.
Dragon. So I know George Russell definitely had a red helmet for the Year of the Dragon.
That's pretty rad.
That's
So
I
that's
like
good.
they should always be doing special helmets every single race. No.
I know this one had some really good ones. And then I agree with you too, Sarah. I loved how at the end of the race they had the little like stand for Joe to drive up to. I actually did start crying when I watched his reaction. It was beautiful. Like it was very touching. That was my
Yeah, he
highlight of the
was-
race.
He was clearly very moved.
Mhm,
He was like so excited to be
mhm,
there. It was just very sweet.
I
mhm.
love that.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think he was surprised at his emotion from that
Mhm.
race. I think he was actually surprised
Hmm.
that it would impact him that much.
Yeah, it could be. It was
I love
sweet.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a race highlight for me for sure. They did a good job making that, like honoring him, I guess.
Did you guys like the trophies that were wearable that none of
Oh,
them put
yeah.
on?
Did you guys? I just saw the post that you guys were sending me. I didn't see that they actually didn't put them on.
No.
Yeah, no, they were all just looking at him and then they
I feel
put him
like-
down.
They didn't tell them like, oh, you can wear this.
That's a real missed opportunity.
Because it's supposed to do something when it gets put around someone's neck, right?
Yeah.
Dang.
lights up.
It is a missed opportunity.
I
Yeah.
hope that they
Oh.
come back around and like take videos of them with them on.
Maybe
Hmm.
next year.
This was a great opportunity for Lando not to break a trophy on the podium.
Maybe that's
Lando
why
proof.
he did look at it like, I think I can put this on, but then he was like, I don't want to
Don't.
get in trouble. Don't
That's
get
an
in
interesting
trouble.
concept.
Yeah.
Something
So they
new.
were supposed to put them on?
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
somebody forgot this in the memo.
Well, they probably get lots of emails.
Well,
No.
it seems like get lots of it seems like it should be the responsibility of the person giving them the trophy.
To be
You
like,
do the Olympic
Yeah.
oh,
thing, right?
yeah.
But then they
Yeah.
maybe need to be told,
Lean forward.
prepare. Like, yeah, it seems like there was maybe a
little-
misconnection.
Yeah.
Is it in every Olympics that they have like the olive crown, or was that like the Australian
That was-
Olympics, like 20 Greece? Was it in Greece?
Greece.
Athens.
That feels Greece.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it felt like that because they already get a medal, so they're probably not
This
expecting
year,
another thing.
they're
or
getting a baguette.
stop.
Is that real?
It could
She's-
be.
It might be.
Obsessed. Or a croissant.
Russell. Yeah, I love. Yeah, good weekend overall. Just
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like it had good PR this weekend. I didn't watch a ton of stuff, but I did kind of like flip through like Instagram and like TikTok and stuff. It seemed pretty good. It seemed like everyone was really excited to be back at China.
mhm.
Did we talk about the Aston Martin in the room with us?
Is the Aston Martin in the room with you?
Aston
Oh, she's talking
Martin
about Taylor Swift.
in the ditch?
Oh,
No,
yes.
before we go to Aston Martin in the room, can we talk
Okay.
about the elephant in the room?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Zach Brown misses the race in China,
What?
and then he's at the Long Beach Grand Prix, and his car won't run.
Wait, the
What?
McLaren at the Long Beach Grand Prix?
No, it was like a vintage car.
The vintage
Was it?
car. He did the
Yeah.
vintage race again?
Yeah, he's in the vintage race. He must have some kind of deal with McLaren that he does this one race.
Huh.
He crashed out in the first lap last year,
Oh,
didn't he?
right, he did
Yeah,
last
he
year.
did.
Yeah.
Lest we forget, we saw him go by one
Yes.
time.
Yep.
Yep.
Never forget.
His car wouldn't start. What's going on with Zach Brown?
Hmm.
How did McLaren do in the Long Beach Grand Prix?
I don't
Did your
know.
friend- did
Don't
John
tell
go?
don't say anything. No spoilers. Mom and I
Hmm.
have not watched the 8-minute highlight yet.
Okay, got it.
Okay,
Say no more.
bring up the Aston Martin in the room.
Well, okay. So full disclosure, I
Mm.
haven't listened to the song.
I actually really like this song. It's one of my favorites on the album. It's a double album release.
I
Yeah,
haven't
I-
listened to the album.
I have listened to it twice.
Taylor Swift wrote a song where she talks about how she is an Aston Martin, and there was a rumor that she was dating Fernando Alonso.
Did you see the Fernando Alonso response video?
No,
To the song?
Yes.
No.
no.
Okay, so he posted a response video and he's basically just sitting in a chair. He has a book and he kind of is like pretending to read the book. And then the song is playing. And then when it says Aston Martin, he looks up at the camera and goes, and then just keeps reading.
Okay,
Stop.
the best take I saw actually was somebody was like, actually, when you think about it, crashing an Aston Martin into the gravel, into a ditch, is more of a Lance Stroll thing
what I
than a
was
Fernando
thinking.
Alonso thing. Fernando doesn't really crash.
So she's saying she was with Lance?
So I don't know. It's just interesting, isn't it?
Well,
It's just something to think about.
his sister is a musician, so maybe that's the connection.
Whose
We
sister?
can't get into that.
Lance
Lance
is-
Stroll.
So
I have
funny.
nothing to say on the matter.
I can't say anything to that.
Do you think that his sister is like, Dad, I know how much money you have spent on Lance to be an F1 driver. You
I want
need
a
to
new guitar."
spend an equal amount of money making me a singer.
Wait, do you think Laura Stroll paid Taylor Swift to write that lyric?
To give them good publicity.
And then maybe Chloe will cover it or something. They're
Stop.
both involved. He's getting both
Ooh.
children involved.
In any case, Lance is going cha-ching.
Cha-ching.
Or Lawrence is going
Lawrence.
cha-ching.
I think Lawrence is like, I've listened to him talk about buying Aston Martin to be his F1 team, and he is doing this as like a money thing. Like, he loves racing, but he was also like, I was watching what was happening. I knew that F1 was picking up. I knew that there was going to be a cost cap and I wouldn't have to spend as much money. So it made a ton of financial sense to buy an F1 team. Like this, I do think I think he loves racing, and I think it seemed like a financially smart decision.
You don't think he just did it because it sounded fun and
I don't think billionaires do anything for fun. I think they're boring. Yeah.
Well, either way, I love that Taylor. I love that she just put that in there. Little nugget, little Easter egg for us all to wonder.
Easter egg.
The Swifties
now-
are eating it up.
Okay, but doesn't her boyfriend now owns money in Alpine?
yeah.
Is it Alpine?
That's what I've heard.
Yeah,
Is that confirmed?
I think
I-
so.
I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Sure.
perfect.
I'm confirming it.
Okay, great.
love it. Love it. Well, anything else to add?
When's the was it Brad Pitt movie? When's that come out?
I think that's fully like on hold.
Really?
Really?
Jamie?
I
I
don't
think
know.
so.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think something happened with financing. I think they had like, F1 style financiers,
Ooh.
suspicious
Yeah.
ones.
Oh, like the energy drink kind of
Yeah.
people.
Ah,
In-
yes.
In classic Formula One fashion, they had questionable
The Russian
sponsorship.
fertilizer company.
Yeah. I'm like, do you think Haas will be like more on the straight and narrow now? Like they won't have as wild of investors, or they just had better investor options because Formula One is so big right now.
Let's talk about Haas for a second. What do you think about their new team
Oh.
principal? Do you
I
think
mean,
he's making a
Haas seems
difference?
like they're doing really well. I can't
Mhm.
tell.
How long do you think Kevin Magnussen? Both their contracts are up this year, right?
Yeah.
Nico had a good weekend, it seemed
Yeah.
like, or at least I don't know how he did in the sprint, but he did a good
Yeah, I feel like
race.
they're both gonna stay. I feel like Haas is like,
You
we
think?
have consistent drivers. It's just working. Like, not in
What
an
if we could
amazing
get-
way, but it's like, I don't feel like the drivers are the thing that are holding the team back.
What if you could get another quality driver with experience? Pierre
You want to get
Gasly,
rid of
Esteban-
Kevin?
Esteban Ocon,
I think
or
I don't like Esteban Ocon, but I do actually think Esteban is a good choice.
or
Oh, interesting.
or
I could see K-Mag maybe getting let go.
He
They're
got
just-
fired from Haas once.
he did, yeah.
And didn't
So-
Nico too, or no? I don't know. I
No.
can't remember Nico's line.
No,
Nico just
Train.
didn't end up getting re-signed with anyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he had a year off and then is
I
out.
think did he have 2 years off?
Okay.
what
Have to
about,
rewatch. Driver's Ed.
okay, did you guys notice that they were calling the Arby's V-carbs this weekend?
I
Yes.
did.
They were
And they were-
told that they need to call them V-carbs.
And they were still on the screen wrong.
Yeah. Every time they said it, I was laughing.
Visa Cash App. It's
Right,
like a
Racing Bulls.
Racing Bulls.
Well, they won't
Yeah.
say what the RB is.
It's just RB, but don't call them RB, call them V-carb.
Nick was like, is that going to upset the sponsors? Because
Hey,
they're
what about-
not saying the sponsor's full name.
Have you looked up what
Well,
stake
That's
is?
the risk. It's a gambling company.
Gambling.
It's a gambling app.
Gambling.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
think that's
meat.
why.
Like I thought.
It's not,
Sure
not
sounds
their
like
white
it.
meat.
Yeah,
Oh.
gambling, which is why
Hey.
they can't be they can't have steak on their car in every country.
Right.
Right, that's what I read, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Then they just put a literal picture of a steak on.
I like that.
Oh my gosh.
Valtteri Bottas has been really hitting social media hard. He's been making some really like tacky advertisements. He did another one, not as
What's
much
the
as
new one?
what was this one? I can't remember. The Australian one really stuck. I can't remember which this one was. So he's been really, it was a real bummer to see him have a tough out to his race.
Yeah, he didn't finish, did he?
Yeah, there are a lot of DNFs.
Who didn't finish?
Uh,
Bottas, Danny,
both of the RBs.
both of the RBs, both of the
Mhm.
V carbs. Rough weekend for V carb.
It
I
was.
know.
Although
I-
Danny
Danny-
was having a pretty good weekend before that.
I think that's why he was extra heated too, because I think
I
there's
think
a lot
so.
on the line for him right now. This is, but my inner Danny Ricciardo is saying there's a lot on the line for him, and so it seemed like he was extra.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
Yes.
agree.
Yeah,
But it was
I
good
can
to
do-
see him like hopefully maybe returning to form. I don't know. I'm trying
Mhm.
not to get my hopes up.
Same.
Okay, when you're driving in traffic and you have to brake heavy, do you look in your rear view mirror to see if the person behind you is
Yes.
gonna be able to stop?
Yes.
Do you
Yes.
think Danny Rick did that?
Know if there's enough reaction time to do that. Is there?
Probably not. I feel like there's less of
You had to like dart to the side or something?
Well, didn't Nico did that?
yeah.
Oh,
And
did he?
then he
That's what I
got
wanna
in
bring up.
trouble for passing. But I
He
don't
got a
think he actually
penalty.
did he get a penalty? He was being
Oh, maybe
it was
not.
like a potential penalty. I don't think
Yeah,
he
did
did.
Yeah,
he
okay.
pass? Like,
I didn't catch that.
did he touch somebody when he was passing? Did he get penalized for that?
I thought it was because
Mm.
he was in that line of cars with Lance Stroll and Danny and everyone. And when
Mhm.
they did that, he went to the inside and like passed him on the inside, and it was under a yellow flag, so you weren't supposed to pass. So they were investigating that.
But
It
it
was
was
weird
obvious.
timing though, because it was
Mm.
like right when Max was taking off. Like Max was like restarting.
Mhm.
Oh,
And
well, I
then
don't
maybe
know.
it hadn't hit the back of the grid yet.
That's a
Like
good.
they all start at the same point on the track, and he maybe started accelerating after the turn.
Well, you know who really triggered the whole thing was Fernando, which I love that because it was Lance being like, Danny did this to me. And it was like, well, it was really Fernando.
Yeah.
And the
Fernando got
ultimate
no
teammate
heat
on
for that.
teammate violence.
Did he do a sudden stop up there?
He
He
like
I think he locked
up.
up.
he locked
Because
up.
of the tires. He had the softs
Yeah.
on.
Mm.
But did you hear? I've been really enjoying the cool down room convos.
Oh,
Yeah.
tell us.
So first off, in true Lando fashion, he sat in Max's seat, which was great to see. And he was wearing the third place hat, so he really messed around in there.
What?
Yeah, he's sitting there, and I was like, "Isn't that Max's seat?" And on the side of the hats, his said third, so he grabbed. Who was it?
He grabbed a hat.
Yeah, he just grabbed a hat and stuck it on. So he was sitting in Max's seat wearing the third place hat, which was really fun.
Do they have assigned seats, or is it just that Max sits in the same one every time?
Great question. I'm assuming. Well, when Carlos
Is it like
went,
a
he
your
sat in
side of the bed
middle.
situation, or is it like a your name is on the chair situation?
I don't think they're assigned, but maybe they are.
I
Okay.
feel like whoever wins always sits in the middle. Kind of like when they drive in with the cars, the winner always sits in the middle. I don't know.
I
It just
thought
feels
Max
like
usually sat nearest to the screen. I feel like that's
Oh.
usually where he is.
maybe
I
he
thought
did, and I'm
other
making it
times
up.
when Max hasn't won, he sat in that middle position, didn't he?
That's just where Max likes to sit.
Max gets his first choice of chairs.
At some
Hey.
point, it's like, how much F1 content is too much F1 content when we're talking about what chair they're sitting in the cool down room?
Well, I found it
They bring back
entertaining.
Sarah.
It's what's really keeping me hooked, you know? And then what were they talking about? So obviously they show like the highlights from the race, and they were all like, oh, when they saw the crash happen.
Yeah.
And Max
Yes.
just looks over and goes, that was my fault, and just starts laughing. It's like,
Max
was it
said that
because
or
of where he
Fernando?
Max said that.
Max.
So I was like, did he like strategically restart so then half the grid was like around that corner?
I kind of think he did.
Yeah. For
Pretty
sure.
sneaky.
That's
Yeah.
a stretch.
Well, he admitted it, so
He admitted
So
it.
all is forgiven.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I have one last quick little update before we maybe close out
Yeah.
this episode because we're all here together.
What's happening? It's so bright.
She's
Oh,
holding
we
up
talking about
Update
the...
everybody on their
Fantasy
fantasy
league?
standings.
Okay, let's hear it.
Oh,
Let's
yeah,
hear.
let's hear it.
Because up until this race, I was 12th and 13th with my two teams out of 13. And I'm proud to say that I have moved up to 9th place.
Whoa.
I
Okay,
know.
where are you in the
He's up to
the
9.
non-Red Bull Max Verstappen Sergio League?
I don't have that league. Everybody has Checo on their team.
No, they don't.
No,
I have one
No.
team with Checo and one team without Checo.
See, James does, and Anne does
I
too.
don't.
Anne is still in first
I don't have Checo
place.
on any of my teams.
Who's Radio
Nice.
Checo?
That sounds like
Anybody
Anne.
want to claim that?
That sounds like an Anne name, yeah?
Who is
Maybe it
Radio
is,
Checo?
but it doesn't say Anne next to it.
I think
Okay.
that's Shelley.
Is it really?
Ooh.
Amazing.
Is
Okay.
Shelley-
Shelley.
Shelley's in the league?
Shout out
Yeah,
Shelley.
Charles is in it.
Charles is in it. Oh my gosh. James is in 3rd. Jamie, sorry. Gloves Off Racing, Dream Girls, Grace is in 4th.
Heck
Sad
yeah.
Boys, Grace is in 5th. Grace is really good. SoCal Speed is in 6th. Formula JF 7th. Ruth's Babies is in 8th. And then we're going to get to my first team, Grid Girls, which is 9th. I don't know why I suck so bad at the fantasy league.
I think that the teams matter more than I realized.
What do you mean? Oh, the
Like,
constructors?
The constructors.
Mhm.
Well, nobody
Maybe that's
has
your
Red
problem.
Bull as the constructor.
No. But
Anyway.
oh, you have Ferrari as one of your constructors, I think.
Yeah.
And you have Aston Martin. I don't know why you're Danny's really pulling you down.
Rigged. Well,
No,
this
I dumped
week,
Danny
I
this
think
week.
I had the no
I need to do
negative
that.
chip, and that helped me a lot. So I might need to dump Danny.
I need
Yeah.
to dump Danny. I've been resisting.
Who is Sad
Me
Boys?
too.
Me.
You had double chips on Checo.
There she
You
is.
get double chips on somebody.
Yeah.
You always have double on somebody.
They were still only in 5th. So the Dream Girls were Lando was he had double chips.
Nice. Yeah,
Nice.
Lando's hot
Oh,
right
that's right.
now.
Yeah.
Hot commode.
Yeah. It pays to be a Carlando girly right now.
Dream
It's
team.
finally paying off, people.
Wait, are there
1,
rumors
2,
that
baby.
Lando has a girlfriend, or is that
I've heard that.
He's hanging out with somebody.
scandalous?
I don't know anything about it beyond that.
Me either.
The girls are not happy, I'll tell you that.
Wait, so who's in second in the league? Anne's in first. Shelley second?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay, Shelley.
I gotta text her and see if that's her team.
If it's
but-
a double Anne, a double Red Bull for Anne.
No. Although, actually, you know what? It might be because Anne doesn't have a second team.
I think she
Hmm.
only has one team.
She only has one team? That doesn't sound like her.
It doesn't sound like her.
Radio
That doesn't sound like
Checo.
her. No. Anyway,
I don't know. It's an interesting team for doing so well.
Okay, what's
Yeah,
up next is
yeah.
G.
What's next?
Yeah,
What's
what's
next?
next?
Are we talking about which race?
Japan? Is it
Yeah, what's
Japan?
the next
Japan's
race?
already happened.
Is it Miami?
It's
It's
Miami.
Oh, it's
Miami.
Miami.
It's
They're coming
Miami.
to our side
The
of the
next weekend?
world.
2 weeks?
No, I think it's 2 weeks.
Okay.
Oh.
I do like that they actually put the
What?
races like in the same hemisphere, kind of near each other.
It's another
Miami.
sprint, you guys.
Another
Yeah.
sprint.
It's a sprint. What's the
And
Sprint.
track
F1
like? Is it
Academy will
two-
be there, I think.
Yes.
Is that true?
Wow, that's
Maybe
a
I'm wrong.
lot
They
of
might be at
content.
Coda. I could be wrong.
Okay.
That's a lot of content.
That's a lot of content.
That's a lot of content.
We should have a little race watch party.
That'd be fun.
I would do that.
I definitely
I'm
want to
looking
watch.
at-
Have we only had one F1 Academy race so far?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The big season.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miami's
Yes.
next.
Was it
Yeah. Miami.
Dorian, huh? Does
Huh?
so good again? Huh?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
yeah. Well,
Okay.
we'll see you all there in Miami, friends. Bye.
Bye.
Toodles.